What up, nerds? What up, all you bagel hoppers? What up? It's your boy. One more king here. Coming at you from a place of love. What do we have today? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Talk about the Negro. All right, are we ready for this conversation? All right, enough of that. Are we ready? Are we ready to talk about Black people? Are we ready openly? You know what I hear a lot of? I hear a lot of excuses. That's what I hear a lot of. A lot of Black people making excuses for Black. Oh, poor. Poverty didn't just disappear. Snatch the mic. That African American woman snatched the mic because the white woman was being impartial, or was not being impartial. She was being partial. So she would let white people say something and she would cut off the Black people. And the sister, she noticed this. Along with other people, she wasn't the only one that noticed this. And she was like, no, I'm going to get up there and I'm going to say my full name. Now, she has a long name. So, there's some leverage there. But nonetheless, that's why the young lady did that. I still don't condone snatching the microphone. I think she should have, wrote somebody a letter and said, look, this is what's going on. And just let it be. But, it is what it is. She cemented herself, as a person that will lose it very quickly. So whoever is going to look up her name is going to find this because now it's on the internet and it's there forever. So, yeah, any employer that wants to look her up, and the first thing they go to is social media. If you don't know that by now, they go straight to your social media. They go to your police records. They go to your BMI records so they can look you up federally and locally, and they look at whatever you've been into. So, yeah. Well, she made herself look bad. However, as far as making us look bad, I would say that the city of Chicago is in need of some serious help. And there are other major cities who are also in need of some serious help. And here's the thing, it's just going to get worse. So I was, checking out some excerpts, on World Star, and there's another major store closing. This guy him and his family has had this store open for the longest. I forgot what the store is called and where it's located. But nonetheless, the white guy, store owner, said, listen, we've had 2 people come in here with knives. I didn't say there was Black people. They just said 2 people. We've had 2 people come in here with knives, and I'm not subjecting my family to that. He said, that's it. We're finished. We're leaving. We're pulling out of here. We're getting up out of here. I'm not having nobody die over groceries. It's to a level that is, can get you killed. And this is not only Black people doing this. We know that recently a Mexican guy got shot to death in a Walmart because him and his woman were stealing and he didn't want to leave. And he pulled out a gun. Even though he was pinned to the ground, he still did brandish a gun, so they shot him twice in the head. he lost his life. We know that when it comes to theft, it's not necessarily a color that is attached to it because it's rampant. However, murder, that's a whole different story. 11 shot, how many died over the weekend? Last weekend? Over some party, over a barbecue? How many of those people died? Also recently in the city of Chicago, the great state of in Chicago, there was a woman who was in a store arguing, and she got into it with the guy, and she called on her 14-year-old son. The little boy stepped out. The car came into the store and shot the dude. And then the mother was like, shoot him again. And see, here's the thing. She's wrestling with the dude, right? I guess. And the mother's like, shooting. So, boom, he shoots the guy, right? The wrestling's over with. The mother is like, shoot him again. So the mother tried to claim self-defense. You can't claim self-defense after the fight is over. You are no longer in danger. The kid shot the woman again. Plus, you used your 14-year-old. And after that, she told her son, shoot the other guy too, because he was laughing. The son was like, no. He got in the car and left. She weaponized a 14-year-old boy because, one, she believes he probably isn't going to do life if the man died, which I think he did. I'm not sure. So she's like, hey, my son's not going to go to jail. You know, he's not going to do 25 to life. Lady, you haven't been watching the news lately. There are plenty of 14, 15-year-olds who are going to jail for the rest of their lives. We've also had a situation, I think this was also in Chicago, where the kids were on a bus, and the last kid on the bus, he was then joined by two teenagers. And I'm sorry, there was a girl on a bus too, a 14-year-old girl. And basically the two teenagers came onto the bus, confronted the little boy, pulled out a gun and clicked twice, boom, boom. They tried to shoot him, but the gun jammed. So the little boy lived. Now, when they got into this story, they found out that little TK or whatever his name is, the kid, the two teenagers, the one teenager who was with him, the boy who actually tried to kill the other young boy, he murdered his friend's sister. So this kid is just on a killing spree. But they were all set up by the 14-year-old little girl. She set the whole thing up. She sent the text message, boom. So this has been going on rampant. They call it getting backdoored. A lot of women are into this. And it's tearing up the neighborhoods. So, yeah, be careful of the woman that you're around, or even the little girl that you're around, the teenage. Listen, I know people don't like to talk about teenage little girls because they think that they're all innocent. They are not. This is new. This is not, 40 years ago. No, these little girls know how to weaponize their brothers, their nephews, their uncles, cousins, any male. They know how to weaponize the males in their families. And the males are so hot-headed and short-sighted that they're just going out and they're committing these murder sprees. And sometimes people are coming up missing. We've had several people who've been shot and killed senselessly. And there's even the incident at the birthday party not too long ago where, teenagers died. It was senseless. It was over some senseless nonsense. They thought all the kids were in the party and the DJ dropped the speaker and they thought it was a gun. So all the kids that were in there were some in there that were brandishing guns from the jump. And when they heard bang, they start shooting other kids. They even shot the host of the damn party. Killed him. They just, pow, 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 pow. Bell, just crazy, just shooting, just boom, boom, boom. Bunch of kids died on that day. It's not too long ago. Anywhere where there's a large group of teenagers, listen, somebody is armed. And they do not care about prison. They don't care about death. They're going to start shooting. And you do not have to do anything to these kids. These are kids. Yes, we're talking about kids. You don't like it? Peace. Because this is a PSA. The 14-year-old, the 13-year-old, the 12-year-olds, they are armed and dangerous. And they're coming for your ass. They can pull the trigger and they will. There's no longer kid gloves for these little hellions. There's no longer, oh, she's so sweet. She's just a little, nope. Nope, because they're packing too. These little girls are packing too. They're setting you up. They're making you think that you're sweet. I was outside, a week ago, and these little girls, 8, 9, 10, just a group of them, were walking around at night, and they just ran up to somebody's door and banged on the door and ran. And I was like, "What'd you do that for?" You may think it's cute, but it's not. People, we're in our house. We don't want to hear nothing like that because now we're going to get up and we're going to be alarmed like, what's going on out here? These kids are something else. It's different out here. And you need to know what's going on. You need to keep up with it because these kids are influencing other kids to be bad. And their level of bad is not my level of bad. When we did bad things, I wasn't a bad kid. But just the level of bad kid in my neighborhood is not even close to what these kids can do because they're armed. They literally can take out your life and they will. We know that these kids have been weaponized to take out other people by grown-ups. And now we're seeing mothers who are using their kids and weaponizing their kids, giving them weapons and saying, hey, come over here and protect me and kill this person. They're not saying defend me. They're saying murder this person right here because they offended me. Murder them. Put them in the grave. Murder them and let's deal with it later. As if they're just going to walk away and everything's going to be fine. Like nobody's going to do nothing. No, that lady, and her son, they both got arrested. But this is an ongoing thing. They're using teenagers as assassins. This is happening over and over and over and all over the place. All over the place. You cannot trust someone just because they're in their teens. You can't. You cannot trust a teenager anymore. You can't think this teenager is not going to steal from you. I watched a teenager steal right out of a store. I just watched her. She paid for something, turned around, grabbed something else, and walked out. It is different out here. They don't care. You can't say nothing to them. They have no respect. And people are going to go, oh, well, not all teens are like that. It doesn't matter now. There's enough teens that are like this to where the adults have to change our way of thinking when it comes to them. We can't look at little handsome little boy. Oh, he gonna grow up. He gonna be. We can't look at him and just pin that on him and say this is going to be the next mayor. This is going to be the next president. We can hope for that, but we can't blindly look at these children and think they're going to be prominent kids because we can watch what they do and we can tell where they're going. And now us, especially people who are like non-aggressive, like we're not into that lifestyle. But now we got to be very leery because this is a kid you let come over and cut your grass. You give him $20 to cut your grass. You got to watch that now because home invasions are done by teenagers. You got to be careful now. If you let one of them in the house, you used to give them lemonade or whatever, in the house and they help you out with stuff like that and you pay them. You cannot do that now. You can't let them in your house. You can't. You cannot because they're going to scope your whole joint and they're going to see what's valuable and then they're going to come back and they're going to take something from you. That is the new vibe. They do not want to work. They don't want to be a part of the school system. They're beating up on teachers. We've had teachers time and time again quit their jobs because these teenagers have lost every sense of respect that they never had. And the parents, listen, I saw the video where the woman had a like a 7-year-old little boy. He wasn't even that old. And little boy was tearing stuff up. So one of the people in the store who worked there said, your kid has to leave. You and your kid out. She's standing in line to pay for some. She's like, well, we're getting ready to pay for this. He's like, no, you're not. Get your kid and leave. Look at him. He's tearing stuff up. And the kid starts cursing at the dude, trying to swing on him. She's like, what you want me to do? Hit him? Because if I do, you'll call, child services on me. He's like, it's not my problem. And these single mothers don't understand that your kid and his badness is not our problem. That is your problem. You have to deal with that child for the rest of his life, the rest of your life. That's your problem. When your child goes before the judge at the age of 12, you're going to have to go down there and explain to the judge why this kid is a hellion. We are not coming with you. We've seen plenty of stories where just recently with a little boy wanted to go outside, teenage boy. And the mother is like, no, you're not going outside. So what does he do? He starts smashing the windows and tearing stuff up. And then the mother challenged him because he said, listen, I'm going outside. I'm going to do what I want. She's like, no, you're not. He's like, I'm going to kick your behind. She's like, I wish you would. And when she said that, she enticed that little boy to engage with her in physical combat. And that's exactly what happened. We didn't get to see the results, but nonetheless, that is a little boy. It's only a matter of time before he overpowers you. And he's going to remember it. It's just a matter, it's not a matter of if, lady, it's a matter of when. He's going to get tall. He's going to get big. And he's naturally going to be stronger than you. And your challenge to beat him up is not going to be a challenge anymore. He's going to throw you through a wall. And then you're going to come crying to us and to social media. We've already seen the results of this. We've seen a woman recently crying because her son tore her house up and beat her up. Beat her ass. Tore the house up. And she gets on social media and she's crying to us, do not cry to us. Because we're not coming to get your little boy and straighten him out. And the reason why is because you wouldn't allow us to straighten him out when we saw which way he was going. You didn't allow it. When the dads of the neighborhood saw you as a single mother and we saw that child at the age of 5 cursing and you said, aw, it's so cute. He's so bad. You thought it was cute that he was bad. And we're telling you, you better cut that out. Stop encouraging that boy. Start praying for him. Look at him now. He's 15 years old. He's bigger than you and he whooped your ass for real. He tore your whole house up. He tore it up too. He tore that house up. What are you going to do, lady? You don't have the tensile strength to beat him in combat. You don't have the speed. You don't have the healing factor. You're in your 40s. He's 15, 16. He can recover within seconds. He can hit the ground and pop up before you even thought about it. His fist will be in your face before you can raise your hands. He's super fast because he's a boy. And he's going into his prime. He's not even into his prime. Wait until he hits 21. You have nothing for him. Nothing. No, you're no match. But you can't tell these mothers this. Listen, ladies, you got these little boys and you're letting them be holy terrors at home. What do you think is going to happen? You think he's going to continue to listen to you? No, he has no love for you. He's going to leave out of that house 12, 13. He's going to get in them streets. Them streets are going to start eating him up alive. He's going to come back home a monster. Recently, a McDonald's got robbed. There was a pack of teenagers who did it. None of them was probably over the age of 16. The youngest one was probably 9. They went into a McDonald's, attacked the employees, and then jumped behind the counter, took food, and took the register. I think this happened in New York. Once again, there are other races that are doing some heinous crimes, but black people are black teenagers. They're so out of hand that there is no one that they listen to. They don't even listen to the cops. They curse at the cops. There is no one. They don't listen to their mothers. They don't listen to their fathers. The only people that teach them anything are the streets. They want to leave the house and get taught by the streets. That's what they want. They don't even want to go to school. People feel sorry when they see a 14, 15-year-old girl running the streets and then stuff happens to her. She gets taken advantage of. And they're, we feel sorry that this, I don't. When I start listening to their stories and on videos, you find out how they got taken advantage of. You know what they say? This is a running thing. They say, I ran away. Little white girl that ran away. She had mom and dad at home. And they love their teenage daughter. She's 15. She got into it with another 15-year-old girl who was living that wild life. She wanted to live that life. That girl introduced her to a pimp. That pimp took her in the house, ran through her, put her out on the street, and 150 men got to her before they found her. And she got pregnant. 150. I don't feel one bit sorry for her because she knew better. She had a mother, a father that loved her. She didn't say mom was abusing me. She didn't say dad was abusing me. She didn't say the uncle was abusing me. There wasn't this, you know how women cry because something happened to them as a child? None of that happened. They both were working parents. They took care of her. And dad, when he found out she was missing, he jumped in his, Ford and he started looking for her. Mom was online trying to find out, blah, blah, blah. They went looking for their child. This is not a family who neglects their own. Because we hear about that too. These people love their child. They went looking for this little girl. They finally caught up with her. She was on the streets. They snatched her up and said, "You're finished here." This is true. Some of them do run due to abuse. But when you listen to her story, not one word of abuse came out of her mouth. I was looking for that. Because a lot of people run away, boys and girls, because of abuse. But I listened to the whole story. When the reporters talked to her, she didn't say one word about abuse. And we're seeing these little girls run away, and boys, over and over and over. For those of you who don't know, there is an epidemic in Ohio with runaway teenagers, most of them black. They're running away and they're never found again. There's a lot of them. We don't know who's taking them. We don't know where they're going. But what we do know is they haven't shown up again. And they've been gone for a long time. And this is constantly happening here in Ohio. So before any of you, come at me because I'm talking about teenage boys and girls, you need to go read the news. You need to read the news and see what's happening in your backyard because there's a good chance it's happening there too. And if we adults don't start talking about it and don't start getting the message out and don't start talking to the teenagers that we know and we love, they're going to be missing. They're going to be gone. And when it happens to you, you're going to cry, woe is me, because you didn't think it could happen to you. You don't think that you can get robbed. You don't think that nobody's watching you on the internet to try to take something from you because it hasn't happened to you. So you believe that it's not going to. Well, I got robbed recently. People taking catalytic converters, it hit me. They got my truck. I didn't even know it happened. Don't think that something can't happen to you. If somebody's giving you a PSA, look, this is going on all over the place, you're part of all over the place. If you have teenage daughters, you need to really watch what they're doing online. If you haven't noticed, there are weirdos in our schools now, and it's wide open for them. They're after your newborns. They're trying to make your newborns, the newborn little boys into girls. Yeah, keep acting like it won't happen to you. Keep acting like you're safe in whatever little corny hood that you're in. You're not. Everyone is being targeted. They are online looking at all of you. All of you. If your kid has a phone, they have a way to talk to your kid. And your little boy is just as valuable. Don't think because you got boys, nobody wants them. You're fooling yourself. You know what they want them for? Their organs and their skin. It is very serious. They want their skin. They want their organs. Don't forget, they used to make leather out of human skin. Black people. You don't believe it? Look it up. They also used to feed our babies to alligators called gator bait. These things never stopped. Everybody thinks they want you to traffic you. No, that's not. Look at the little boy that was killed in high school. He was rolled up in a mat. When they found him, they found him in one piece that he was deceased. When he went to when the coroner finally got to him, then he ended up at the funeral. They noticed that he didn't have any organs. What happened? They took the organs out of this little boy. There was a man who's in his 30s, got into a car accident, passed away. Took him to the hospital, took him to the coroners. When his people wanted to see what happened to him, they never found his body again. And his people's like, where is this guy? Never found his body again. What do you think they did? They took his organs. There was a young man, he was like 21 years old. He was in, I think, Nevada, traveling on one of them dark roads. They found him in the bushes. His eyes were missing. His organs were all gone. This black man, all gone. Listen, stop acting like you're not valuable to someone. You have what somebody wants. If you look at Iraq, which is very poor now, you know how some of those guys are getting money? Organ donations. They're willingly giving up a kidney or something that they know, hey, if I got another one, I can live without them. You look at a lot of men over there, they'll have a big scar on them. That's how they make a little bit of money. They give up their organs. This is worldwide. Protect your family. Pray for your family. Now your little girl is definitely most targeted, but Tisha Campbell said they tried to snatch her. How old is she? She's almost 50. They tried to snatch her in Atlanta. What do you think they wanted from her? A 50-year-old woman. What they want? What they want from a 50-year-old woman? They ain't know she was Tisha Campbell. Like, this is a popular 50-year-old woman. They didn't care. She went online like, they just tried to snatch me. It is real, people. Regardless of your gender or age, you are valuable. You're very valuable. But Black people, especially in some of these major cities, they do not understand the full circumference of the system. And when they give themselves over to the jail system, they don't realize that the penal system is not on your side. It is not made for you to be in a safe place. Who's that? The famous rapper, the dude who's in one of them gangs on Crips or Bloods. I forgot. He's in there for Rico. He just caught $150. How'd that happen? Bunch of members from the other gangs had shanks, caught up to him in the prison, gave him $150. How about the guy who died? What's going on? Casanova. Exactly. That's who he was. How about the guy who died from bed bugs? They put him in jail for a misdemeanor. They put him in a single cell for a misdemeanor. And they knew. They knew. They knew he was being eaten alive. They knew about it. No, listen. If you've never been bitten by a bed bug, then you wouldn't understand. It's just a little thing like this. But at the rate that they have babies, and then the babies, those are the ones that hurt like hell when they bite you, and you can't even see them. But at the rate that they multiply, this guy had no defense. And he was a little mental. That's what he was in there for, because, but he's in there on a misdemeanor. He's telling them, get me out of here. I'm being eaten by bed bugs. They have to feed him every day. He's banging on it every day. They have to feed him. They have to open that thing and feed him. You have to feed him. He didn't die of starvation. He died from bed bugs. I've never heard this before in my life. When he died, his eyes were still open. And bed bugs were all over his face and all over his body. They ate him. If you've never been bitten by one, then you just don't know. Bed bugs, the worst infestation, the worst bug you ever want to compete with, because they can bite you and live for 6 months off of that one bite. But if they bite you and you have no defense, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing that you're putting up, no fight. It is lights out for you. This is a problem with old people. Like people who are 80 years old and have dementia and they don't know what's going on. And then, some social worker gets a call and goes to their house and they find out that it's infested with bed bugs and roaches sometimes. But a lot of times it's bed bugs. So then they have to call somebody to come over there, and they usually remove them from the house because bed bugs are hard to stop. Very, very hard to stop. You have to heat up the whole house and burst your shells. And then some of them can still live. You have to treat that house more than once. And then there's sprays and chemicals that you can use, but they hide in all kind of places. You'd be surprised. Sometimes they'll be right on your ceiling and they'll drop down right on top of you. Get what they want, crawl off your bed, and then, I mean, they're just amazing. This guy died from bed bugs. Now, when that case, when they finally realized that this guy was dead, and this is what gets me. When you die, your body starts decomposing. It just doesn't take that long. The blood's not running through your body. You start going. They knew when he was dead. When you see the pictures of him, it doesn't look like he died 30 seconds ago. Which means he wasn't in there dead for very long. You knew. You checked the thing. Oh, I think there's a problem. Then you called EMS. And when EMS showed up, they looked at the man and said, we don't want to touch him because he was covered with bed bugs. Covered. It was just a mess. That whole place in that whole jail cell was a mess. He had no defense. And they let it happen. And this is in Atlanta. So they found out that the jailer, the guy who runs the whole jail, they found out he knew. They found out the assistants knew. They found out a bunch of the guards knew. They found out that the detectives who do the investigations, they knew. So you had like 10 people that said, boom, we're out of here. And they all decided to resign all at once. It's like, no, don't resign now. You're going to jail for murder. Premeditated. This is murder one. You knew this was going on. You're going to prison. We don't want you to resign and think you're doing us a favor. No, you didn't even let his family contact him. They denied him contact. See, a lot of these youngsters do not know that the prison system is not made to help you. And once you go in there, you're fair game. You're fair game. You got young ladies going in there and then coming out pregnant. And some of them aren't even coming out. They're just in there and then they get pregnant. How does this happen? The COs. You had a man recently that so-called hung himself. Black man. He didn't hang himself. Then the COs was talking to the other prisoners and said, you don't be quiet. That's what's going to happen to you. You had the COs that gave a white guy a shank and then locked up a bunch of the black guys around the table, had them all locked by the wrist. And when the white dude entered, he came in and he started stabbing all the black guys. That's actually on World Star 2. You can look that up. That happened. But the white dude was a lifer. The prison system is not made for rehabilitation. It doesn't rehabilitate you. It is a meat grinder. The prison guards do not love you. If you're allowing some of your female family members to act a fool, twerk all over the place and shake their ass, tat it all up and their tongue sticking out everywhere and just be completely rebellious, guess what's going to happen? They're going to find themselves on the wrong side of justice. And when they do, they're going to go in and get a train ran on them. And they're going to get pregnant. And that's just going to be that. And please, let's stop acting like this isn't happening. Because it is. It's happening, people. and it'll happen to your family member. If you guys don't look at these women in your family and go, cut it out. If you men don't step up to these knucklehead little girls who think that it's cute to be bad, if you don't tell them to shut up, turn that phone off, get in here and read something, you don't snatch them by the collar, now some stranger's going to be doing it to them in prison. And there's not one thing they could do. One young lady said it was a damn shame what they did to me. She was like, it was so bad that they started bringing me food just to, give me some kind of solace. She said it was a shame what they did to me. That lady is now homeless because her mind is shattered. Her mind's shattered. Don't think that they're going to go through that ordeal and they're going to be okay. They're not, because it is violent. And they are hopeless. They can't call on you to come save them. All that mouth they got, all that lip they got, it is hopeless. They are surrounded. There is nothing they can do. There is no fight in them, no nothing. And they are in there for years. This is not a one-time deal. Once again, they're getting pregnant. This doesn't happen once. This is happening over and over. And whatever day these guards choose, guess what? It's time for you to do it or you don't eat. And we dare you to say something to somebody on the outside. See what happens to you. We dare you to write a letter because they read your letters. We dare you to get on the phone. They know what you're saying on the phone. If you don't stop the women in your family from this craziness, you're not going to recognize them when they get out of prison. And for those of you who don't know, women are being sold to other prisoners, male prisoners. People think prisoners are broke and they're not. They got money. They got more than the guards. So if somebody has money, he's like, look, bro, got any females? Sure. We'll bring some over. This is how much it costs. You think they care about you? That's what's going on now. They're selling the female prisoners to the male prisoners. That's what's happening, people. This is not a mystery. It's happening. And the only way not to get involved in none of that is for you and your people to act right. And still sometimes people get taken, but nonetheless, it's more likely if you're out there acting a fool. I'm just telling you for your own good. Some of y'all don't like my conversation, but hey, it's real in the field. Prison guard told me whatever happens in prison stays in prison. At any rate, if Black people don't get their act together, they're going to lose everything. So gentrification is a big thing. Some white people bought the building that I used to live in. White people had already owned it, but other white folks, it changed hands and they kicked me out. That whole area looks different. Used to be robberies all the time in that area, not now. The projects that were right across the street from there are all gone. The projects that were right over here, all gone. Down the street, gone. All the Black people that lived here, gone. And I live 5 miles from town. They started downtown and they worked their way out. Yeah, thanks for the lights. and they work their way out. And the value of the little rundown house and all that, sky high. Sky high now. It's $2,000 just to rent an apartment downtown. It's crazy. So all those houses, they just kicked all the people out. Get out. Took the houses. Some of them are completely torn down. Other ones they just came in and redid. And the working Black people, they still have their homes. The people who are contributing to society, they're still there. The homeowners, the people who had apartments, not so much. Because they sent them a letter and said, everybody get out of these apartments. Then they tore the apartments down, built new apartments, and that's how that went. Now, some Black people still live in these hoods, but a majority of them, it's becoming more and more mixed, as you say. There are no longer Black neighborhoods. I'm saying all that to say what we're seeing with Chicago and other places where the grocery stores are shutting down because of the violence and the amount of lunacy that is happening. They're gone past we're leaving because it's we're not making any money. No, they're leaving because it's highly dangerous to be there. The criminals are armed. The kids are involved now. One man stole 6 TVs. And they have mandates to say, don't bother these people when they come in and steal something. One of my neighbors works for one of these department stores. She's like, we can identify everybody that comes in so we know who's stealing. We just let them steal it. We wait till they get a certain amount and then we bag them. But the majority of them are who? Black kids. They're children. If you have children, I don't care what age, you better warn your children right now that this whole thing is going to come to a screeching halt. I don't know what neighborhood you're in, but when your grocery stores leave, you as an adult are going to have to find a way to feed them. What are you going to do? You understand what's happening? We had 1,800 cows blow up all at once, dead. We have acid rain in Ohio, an acid cloud, acid rain. We have, these billionaires who are buying up all the farmland and then paying farmers for their fields and then killing everything on the field. We got thousands and thousands of turkeys that died all at once, chickens that died all at once, other cows that died all at once. These are the things that we're eating. Our water is poisoned. Do you understand what's going on? But then you're acting an animal, running up into Walmart and tearing the whole thing up. They tore the whole Walmart up, tore all the stuff off of the Walmart shelves, took a bunch of stuff and left. Walmart closed 4 stores in one area. Now where do you think these hellions are going to go? Piggly Wiggly, Po Folks, or wherever. Po Folks is a restaurant in the South. But Piggly Wiggly, dollar store, they're going to hit every store that they can. What are those stores going to do? They're going to bail out. Giant Eagle, Kroger's. You think they're not all watching each other? They're in competition with each other. Listen, Giant Eagle, Kroger's, and all the other major food chains, stores, they're not going to go, yeah, we're about to get those customers. They're going, damn, we're about to get those customers. That's what they're doing. And now they decided, in order for us to stay open and combat this, we're going to have to hire armed guards and police. But they're hiring armed security with dogs. It's only a short matter of time before where social media is blown up with some kid who got bit and some mother raising hell saying her kid didn't do anything. And here's the thing, that kid might not have done anything. But because so many kids are wilding, so many kids are you don't know. We don't know. And I'm not for kids getting bit. I'm just saying it's gonna happen. So they're gonna have to do like they do, like with any small mom and pop, and say, listen, only two kids come in at one time, so they can watch them. And they're gonna have to regulate the mothers who have these children. They're gonna regulate the mothers too, because if that child steals and he's with the mother, and yeah, they're gonna be watching you too, and they're gonna tell the mothers, listen, only two mothers in at one time. If you're bringing a child or your kid stays outside. If you don't want to follow the rules, then you don't shop here. They're going to start regulating food for Black people. They're going to make them stand outside in line and come in, drip little by little. They're going to give them so much time to shop. You have 15 minutes to get what you want and get the hell out. If you don't, there's dogs. You got 15 minutes. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care about your problems. We don't. 15 minutes is ticking. 14 minutes, you're still running your mouth. We don't care. You and your son, boom, let's go. 14 minutes. And they're only going to let so many in at a time. And they're going to wait at the door with loaded guns. What? Please act up. Please act a fool. Please act like you're going to come in here and run up in the store and tear it up. Please do it. Please. You'll be dead today. And those people are going to go in there, they're going to shop, they're going to get the stuff, they're going to get the hell out, and the next group of people are going to come in. And we're going to be watching all of you. Do it. Act bad. Run your mouth. You're a single mother, say something. You two pops, come in here and act the fool. 15 minutes, you got 15. When 15 clicks and you're not finished, you're going to be ushered out. Dogs, go ahead, because you're going to be bit by Fido. And we don't care, because Fido will bite the hell out of you. And you're going to lose in a lawsuit. Try it. Nobody's going to take your case, because we're tired. It's not only Black people. This is white people coming in stealing too. You had a white guy in New York came in there with a freaking torch. Came in there, heated up the plastic, broke into the one and took all the stuff and walked right out. Him too. Act like you want some. Your leg is gonna be red. Yeah, soon you come in here and start piling up and putting all the medicine in the bag, you're gonna get bit. Yeah, I promise you, you're not walking out of here with no medicine, I promise you, you're not. You're gonna get bit. And act up, swing on me. Go ahead. And that's what the stores are going to have to do. And I'm with it. I'm with it all day. Because I need these stores to stay open. I need Kroger's to stay open. I need them. I need them. I could ride my bike to 2 different Kroger's. I need them to stay open. I need them to regulate whoever's going in there and stealing. Regulate them. I'm with it. I'll sign the waiver. Regulate me. I'll do it because I'm not a thief. If I'm hungry and I have no food, I got to go to a shelter. I got to go to a church. And if I go, and if I can't go there and I got to go to Kroger's, I'm going to walk in there and I'm going to say, I have no food and I'm hungry. Is there something I can do? I'll do something. But I have no food. I have no money. But I'm able-bodied. I can do something. I can move some boxes for a couple hours or whatever. I can't do it too much more than that without being, hurt. But I can do this. If you just get me a pizza, I'll work for a pizza. I'll do that. What you got? You want me to go clean up aisle 7? I got you. No problem. I'm just asking for a sandwich and a drink, and I'm good. And if it's cool with you, I'll show up tomorrow. I'll give you 2 hours tomorrow for another sandwich and drink. I'm with it. Regulate these people. All of them. White, black, blue, green. Regulate them. I'm tired. Because I don't want my Kroger's to shut down. I don't want Walmart to shut down. I want to be able to walk in there, buy food, and leave. When I'm hungry, I want to go buy food and leave. I don't want to walk into a war zone like the Walmarts in Chicago. It's a war zone in Chicago. And it's not because of poverty. It's because these people just want to do what they want to do. You know what's really crazy? Some of those kids live in nice areas. They get online and they get influenced. Yeah, say goodbye to those days. But some of these kids are suburbanites. They don't have a lick of hood in them. They're suburbanites. That's what they are. You're a suburbanite and you're acting a fool. Let's see how much you act when your kid can't when you can't get any food. When you say what's for breakfast and there's nothing in your refrigerator. You know why? Because you acted a fool. So they shut down all the nearby places to eat. Don't think it can happen. What do you think the pandemic was about? It was a test run. You're fooling yourself if they didn't get data from the pandemic and all. As a matter of fact, they helped shut places down. The cops were setting their own cars on fire. Why would the cops do that? Why would the cops throw bricks at their own cars? Because they wanted it to be worse. Why? Because it was a test run. It's a test run. Now the real thing's about to happen. The restaurants and the grocery stores are the first that's going to get hit. They're the low-hanging fruit. They're the first things that are going to get hit. Department stores, they're all going to get hit. And when that food runs out, now what? They're going to start robbing each other. We already see that happening. When they can't do that no more, what do you think they're going to go hunting? No, these kids don't know how to do none of that. They don't know how to hunt. They know how to shoot each other. And they don't really know how to shoot. They don't know how to go and hunt a deer. They don't have the patience. What happens when you run out of bullets? You know how to make a bow and arrow? These kids have no skills. They have no hunting skills. They don't know how to fish. Quit saying, oh, we'll just go fish. You don't know how to fish. You don't have the patience for fishing. Fishing's a whole new ball game. Fishing, you have to be quiet. The fish can hear you. Fish can see you. The fish know you're fishing. These are not stupid animals. It's a whole different science to fishing. Take one of these teenagers out there and go fish for some walleye or some, largemouth bass. They won't have a clue. Take this worm, put it on this hook, cast, and now you got to wait for an hour just to eat. And that's maybe a good chance you might not come home with anything. You might catch a little ass bluegill. That ain't even a damn sandwich. And you got to scale the little bastard. You got to gut him too. I'm trying to tell you, that bluegill ain't got enough on him to make you happy at all. That's why you got to catch like 5 or 6 bluegills to get a half decent dinner. We're in trouble. Our kids don't know anything. They don't know nothing about the woods. They can't hunt rabbits. They don't. When I was 10 years old, I was hunting rabbits and squirrels. Why? Because we were hungry. We were starving. We didn't go to the grocery store and steal stuff. We had a bow and arrow. Then that broke, and then we made our own bow and arrows. And we went right outside, found some grass, found some wooded areas, still in the hood, and we started hunting. We ate turtles, we ate rabbits, we ate squirrels, we ate pheasants, pigeons. We ate them. Took them home, skinned them down, boom, we ate them. We did okay. We went right back to being Indians. And if you don't know how to do that and your kids don't know how to do that, then what are you going to do when all these grocery store chains close down? Because that's what's going to happen. What are you going to do? There's only so much they're going to take. There's only so many kids that they're going to allow to run up there and take everything. Those stores, those Walmart stores says they lost tens of millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. One of them was set on fire. Somebody died at one. Listen, these people aren't going to lose their life for you. They don't care about you. They care about the bottom line. The more you act a monkey, the more that's how they're going to label you. You guys are a bunch of monkeys. Hell, monkeys are more civilized than you because you don't want to listen to nothing. Monkeys know what to listen to. Monkeys, as a matter of fact, monkeys are very smart. Very smart. I'm trying to tell you, there's going to be more kids that are in jail. They're not going to waste that. Those kids are going to be working for somebody. There are going to be more life sentences handed down. They're going to keep them in jail. We know black people get more long-term sentences than anyone else. There's a man who got 50 years because he stole a sandwich. He stole it because he was hungry. You know why they really have him in there? Because he's super strong. He was able to break his handcuffs. Once they saw that, they were like, you are not getting out of jail. He's super strong. He has super strength. He was like, they got me in here for 50 years for stealing a sandwich. He wasn't even armed. Walked into a place, took a sandwich, whoop. That's not even 6 months. That's petty theft. That's petty theft. But when they saw how strong he was, there was like 50 years. They just gave a kid, a 14-year-old kid in Alabama, him and his buddies were doing something. They had pellet guns. Police showed up on the scene, shot the one little boy, caught the other little boy, put him in jail, and the judge said, we're going to give you 65 years. Why? Because the other kid died, and it's your fault because you were with him. They didn't even blame the police who shot and killed the other boy. They blamed the other boy and said 65 years. Do you think he's going to do 65 years and do absolutely nothing? No, they're going to use him for something. 65 years. They gave him a life sentence. This just happened. Here's a white kid who committed a murder, and the same judge on the same day, he got like 3 years and a bunch of probation. And he actually committed murder. I'm trying to tell you, it is lights out for Black people. The penal system is going to do some serious damage to us. And they're not playing with teenagers. There's no more of this, you can't be thrown in jail for a long time because you're a child. They have skipped right past that. Right past it. They don't feel sorry for you because you're a woman. They don't feel sorry for you because you're a girl. They don't look at a little girl and say, this is a little girl, so we're going to, nope, they don't do that no more. They're arresting little girls. They're throwing little girls in big girl jail. Your kids, your daughter, your nieces. Your nieces are going to jail for a long time. Your nieces, your nieces. Your nieces. Knee high to a butterfly. Your little badass nieces who want to shake her ass all day. Curse and swear and listen to horrible music because you allowed her to do it. Your niece is going to jail. She thought it was cute to text some little boy and say, come over here and beat up this little boy. Well, that's what he did. He came over, he beat him up, and guess what? Somebody got shot and killed. Guess who started it all? Your niece. Your niece is an accessory. She's an accessory to murder. It all started with her mouth. Talking about she's going to call somebody. That's exactly what she did. Now somebody's dead. Tracked it all back to her. You're going to jail. And no, I don't feel sorry for you because you knew. Y'all call the craziest people for the dumbest things. Some little boy don't like you no more. I'm going to call my cousin. You know your cousin is off the chain. He going to come over there and shoot the place up. Now you got 3 bodies all because of you and your feelings. You're going to jail for an accessory to murder. You and your crazy ass cousin, goodbye. You got 3 counts of accessory. You're going to do mandatory 25 each. Good night. What do you think is going to happen to her in jail? You think she's going to go to the same jail as Martha Stewart? No. Those girls are catching hell in there. Some of them are dying in there. I better wake up. You men who are afraid of women now, because it's a thing to be afraid of women. You can't say nothing to a woman because of her feelings. To hell with her feelings. Care about your damn feelings? I care about 5-0 running up and killing everything on sight because that just happened too. Police were called to a woman's house. They were at her front door and the woman says, you can't come in because you don't have a warrant. They opened fire and shot the woman. They shot her through her window and through her door. Several officers. You think they saw a gun? They need to lock them up because a lot of them don't talk about nothing but violence. They're the author of some of this stuff. I say lock them all up. Every single one of them talking about running up in somebody's house and doing this and doing that. Lock them up. All of them talking about I got a Draco this and I got a that. I'll shoot this, shoot that. Lock them all up. Lock them up. I have no love for them. Everyone talking about they sold this and sold that, these drugs. Lock them all up. I'm tired of it. All the ones talking about pimping hoes and all this. You too. That's a felony. There's people got life sentences for being pimps. Lock them up. I have no love for those people. None. I don't go, oh, you locked up a rapper he murdered 26 people. Him and his crew. They were completely terrorizing a whole city. A whole city was being terrorized by these people. And now they're in there rapping about God. Where was God when you was putting out that horrible music and you were putting hits on people's heads? Where was God then? We can listen to your lyrics where you was like, F the judge. It's right here in your lyric. You put this on the air. It said F the judge, F the police, F. They read it in court. Did you say this? Yes, I did. Is this your song? Yes, it is. What? I'm not a lover of judges and police, but I'm not going to sit up there like they can't do nothing to me. I'm so and so. Well, they raided your house. They took all your digital information. They took your cell phones. They went and took your computers. They raided your house. They locked you and a bunch of your members up, and then they made your members turn on you. And they flipped them. And they're keeping you because you're the ringleader. And here's what's really crazy. Some of your friends don't have enough money to afford a judge or to afford a lawyer. So what do you think they're going to do to them? Not to mention it's in one of the worst cities to be locked up. Same prison same prison system where the guy died of bed bugs. Guess what? You're in that same city. Atlanta. Those black people do not care about you in the penal system. They do not care, and now it's evident they don't care. They will laugh at you as you die, and that's what they did to that guy who got killed by bedbugs. They laughed at him while he was dying. They knew he was dying. All the way up to the top knew he was dying. Even the people that don't work in the prison system knew he was dying. And they let him die. You're in the same penal system, in the same city. That whole jail had to be shut down. That's how bad the bed bugs were in there. Drink that in to 600 people. They had to shut the whole jail down. Do you understand? Listen, here's the thing about bed bugs. They only hide for so long. They come right out and they let you know they're there because they get hungry and they bite you. And it only just takes a little bit of deduction to see this is a bed bug. They multiply so fast, boom, there's a whole patch of them right there. You can just go in there, hit them with some whatever, bam, 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 bam. Knock their numbers down. Do that once every, month? Take you nothing. Take you no time. 4 guards could have done that each floor. Went in there, sprayed up, keep the numbers down until you called in the whoever to come and exterminate for real. You could have knocked those numbers down easily, but you didn't do it because you wanted to see what was going to happen. You enjoyed that young man suffering, who was in there on a misdemeanor. You enjoyed it. It's fun for you. The guy who died because he was too cold, they knew he was too cold. Or the guy who cooked to death in the jail. And whenever they would open his thing to feed him, a bunch of heat would come out. He'd tell him, look, it's too hot in here. He cooked. He died of being overheated. They cooked him in there. They knew he was cooking. They knew it. The people outside of the prison knew it. Hell, the government probably knew it. They wanted to see what was going to happen. How long will it take for a fully grown, healthy male to be cooked inside of a jail? You want to know how I know they knew? Because it was an isolated case in a prison. Remember when Fandy went out in front of the prison and used the bullhorn and was calling up to the prison, say, all of you who are cold, knock on the windows? And all of the prisoners were knocking on the window? That's because all of the cells lacked heat. The guy who was cooked in jail is the only one. Bedbug guy, only one. The guy who froze, only one. These are test subjects. It's evident that they're test subjects. And the jailer, the assistant jailer, the investigator, the guards, all of them all retiring at once. Hello, people. They're all in on it. They were all told to do that. They were instructed to let that man die of infestation. Do not go in there and spray. Do not remove him. Keep him in there. This is not a hardened criminal. He's in there for a misdemeanor. And he's got mental issues. 24-hour lockdown. They didn't even let him come out. The whole thing was just inhumane, and I hope all of them get locked up with bed bugs. If they all died from being eaten by bed bugs, I would not care. I would rejoice. I would rejoice if they all died from being eaten by bed bugs. I would rejoice. I wouldn't feel sorry for any of them. I wouldn't feel sorry not for none of them, not for their kids, not for their wives. I'd be like, your father let a man die by being eaten by bed bugs. And now he is behind bars until he dies from being eaten by bed bugs. That's what he deserves. He could have stopped it at any time. He could have told the people who told him to do it, screw you. He could have quit his job. He could have been like, I can't do it. I gotta go. Don't forget, I was living in Atlanta when the sheriff got killed by a sheriff who was trying to take his place. He hired a guy to go to the sheriff's house and hide in the bushes. And when the sheriff was walking to his door, the guy jumped out the bushes and murdered him. And they found out that it was him because of the deputy sheriff's secretary. The secretary told on him. And he was banging the secretary, and he was married to somebody else. Y'all have no idea the prison system is a wicked, 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 wicked place. And there are going to be a lot of black kids who are going to find their way there. I don't feel sorry for none of them. I only feel sorry for the innocent. I feel sorry for the kids who get caught up in it, for the kids who are actually trying to go to school, for the kids who are quiet on the bus and they're getting teased because they listen, they want to be a square. They don't want nothing to do with what's going on. For the little girl and a little boy who just wants to go to school, I like school. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Y'all fighting teachers. Who y'all gonna learn from? Who y'all gonna learn from? I went out with this woman. She said her 10-year-old daughter got beat up by a bunch of 10-year-old girls in school. Her little daughter, just the sweetest little thing, don't know how to fight whatsoever. She said, "Mommy, they called me into the bathroom." She's thinking y'all going in there to have a girl powwow. She said, as soon as I went in there, this little girl hit her. 10. She said, "Mommy, she beat me up." For no reason. Other than this is a good kid. That little hellbat beat up this other 10-year-old girl for no reason. And the other girls stood around and watched it. They coaxed her into the bathroom. Her little compadres was like, "Bring her in here. We're going to beat her up." Little girl don't know how to fight. I was like, "Hey, no dad teach her how to fight?" She said he don't know how to fight either. He got beat up by some guy who I was dating. He came over here and started, mouthing off. The dude beat him up. Your little girl's in trouble. That's when you put him in MMA class. Yeah. Yeah. Forget that after school. No, you going to MMA class. I watched another video where this black girl wanted to fight with this white girl, and the white girl had, some guy with her, and the dude was coaching her. He was like, "Do this now, do that now, do this now." He taught the white girl MMA, and the little black girl had no idea. She pinned that girl and started to choke her out. The dude was like, "Let her up now." Little girl, and then the little girl's mother, her black mother came and said, "Beat her ass." Little do you know, your little girl just got almost killed because she doesn't know how to fight, and there's no male figure. There is a male figure right there who's coaching this little white girl, and you can listen to him coach her in the video. He's like, "Do this, get her hands, move her hands, take her back, do this, get her real neck and choke." She did it to her twice. Little black girl had no defense. Just because you're black doesn't mean you can fight. Now, if she would have had somebody who knew something, they would have easily nullified all of that. It'd have been easy. Punch her in the face. She has to take you to the ground to win. Don't go to the ground. Punch her right in the face. Keep her away from you. You're faster than she is. Punch her right in the face. I bet all of that'll change. She's got nothing for you. And how do we know this? Amanda Nunes, Ronda Rousey. Punched her in the face. Ronda had nothing. I seen this Asian kid beating up this black kid. Boys, they were boys. Took him to the ground, was doing some crazy stuff to him. Black kid figured it out. He was like, this Asian kid knows what he's doing on the ground, but he ain't faster than me. Punched that kid right in the face. Boom, fight was over. Asian kid had nothing. Punched that girl in the face. Stay away from her, use your feet. But she didn't have no male to teach her anything. She just got all anger from her mother. No. You need your father, you need your uncle, you need your brothers here to show you how to use your hands. And you wouldn't have got embarrassed. Nobody's playing with us anymore. The white people are pulling out of our neighborhoods. And if you haven't, listen, you need to see what happened to Detroit. Or look at Braddock, Pittsburgh, where I'm from. It's a ghost town. What happened when GM pulled out of Detroit? Ghost town. All of middle America, when they pulled out of Detroit, that was it. Detroit went downhill. Sorry, guys, my nose is... This dust is going on my nose. I'm sorry. Anyways, don't forget to leave me a like. I just had to get some of that out. I'm hoping some of you guys take that with a grain of salt and really understand that I'm an old man. You know, I'm in my 50s, my mid-50s. So I don't have some of the issues that you guys have. You know, you guys got little ones coming into this world or coming up into this world. You have a whole set of problems that I don't have. But what I can do is use my wisdom and foresight from what I've seen, what I know, and warn you to prepare your little ones for the animals that are on the street. You don't want your kids missing. You don't want your kids being beat up by other little hellions. You want your kids to be able to protect themselves. They're not always going to be around you. I know you're strong and fast and all that, but your kid leaves your sight every day. Every day that kid leaves your sight. And at some point, that kid is mixing with other children. Regardless of how old they are, they're mixing with other children. You don't know which one of those kids is off their rocker. You don't know this. You don't. You're not with them every day, every second of the day. You don't know who's crazy. You don't know what 8, 9-year-old and what they're going through at home. You don't know. One of these days, they could just turn around, look at your kid, and decide, you know what? I want to be bad, and I want to pick on you. Let's go. What do you got? Put them up. Then they surround your kid. I've been surrounded as a kid before. Locked in a room. Surrounded. No way out. And I had to fight. That happened to me constantly. I can still remember who did it. I hate them to this day. I remember the kids I was fighting. Yeah, I remember all of it. I remember where it happened and when it happened. You don't want your kid to have that type of trauma. Be looking over their shoulders all the time. Don't trust nobody. Be ready to fight all the time. You don't want that because it snatches the innocence right out of them. You want your kids to be happy. You want your kids to believe that there are good people in this world. You know, Disney World, you know, happy things, cookouts, and going camping and horseback riding. You know, going visiting, going on road trips. You want your kids to believe in that. You don't want the light to go out of their eyes. But that's the plan of these hellions that are around your children. They'll take the innocence away from them. They'll introduce them to the other side of this planet. When they do that, your kid's going to come home a changed person. And you can be mad all you want to and go up and try to fight whoever. But what you really need to do is say, this is where we're at. This happened. This is where we're at. What are we going to do about it? How do we prepare for this? All right, fine. This is your bullet. This is your gun. This is how you throw a mean right. This is how you uppercut. You can put them up. Jab, 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 duck, jab, jab, jab. Step forward, step back, duck. This is what it is. Or your kid's going to come home tomorrow. Same thing, because you can't be there. Could be another kid that just wants to pick on your kid. Now your kid's a target. What are you going to do? Hit the ground, turn over, close your legs, open your legs, put a 4 leg lock, do this, use your elbows, do this. I don't care how big they are. They can still defend themselves. And if you don't start teaching them how to defend themselves, they're always going to run back to you and think you can do something about it when you're not on the playground. Just a warning. I'll come back and make some music. Peace.